All right, we have Collin Anglin on the show. He returns to action on May 2nd at Lights Out Championship A. He's going to take on Mike Taylor for the promotion's featherweight title, sharing the card alongside his teammate Amanda Bobby Cooper, who will be fighting for the women's bantamweight title. How are you, Collin?
I'm good, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So the fight is official for May 2nd, Lights Out 8. How excited are you to build upon a very successful 2019 and so far a good start to 2020?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be a great show. My whole team will have, my whole squad will have lights out belts, and it'll be a good start to the year.
Your last fight was at WXC 86, if memory serves you correctly. You finished Will Frost in the second round, one of the best knockouts of the year on a regional basis thus far in the sport. What did you take away from that performance to set you up for May 2nd and for whatever the rest of the year is going to bring your way?
Yeah, for sure. It was it was a tough fight. I took a lot away from it, actually. I left that fight thinking, okay, there's a lot I can work on, a lot I can get better at, which was nice because the last few fights before that, they were all knockouts as well, but or TKOs. But I wasn't. I left those, and I was kind of thinking, it was really good performances. I don't really know, I don't know. I just didn't really have a lot to go off from them. But this fight, I did some things that I can get better at. I saw a lot that I can get, I can work on, and so I was really happy to take, learn from those mistakes I made, which there weren't a lot, but there was just a couple little things I saw.
Anything in particular stick out to you that sort of bummed you out after that? I mean, obviously it was great to get the win and get the finish the way that you did, but is there anything that particularly bummed you out about that performance that you felt like you had to get back and work on right away?
Just, maybe coming out and finding range a bit sooner, and getting a faster start. I didn't really find my range till like the end of the first round, and then but that's when I really started doing damage. So if I would have just found that at the start of the fight, that fight probably would not have went to the second round.
You haven't been in the sport for too long. You made your amateur debut, thinking back, I believe it was in 2015. How old are you? You got a very, very young look to you. How old are you?
I just turned 27 about 10 days ago. So, 27. I started, I actually took my first fight back before it was sanctioned. I took my first fight when I was 18. So, but, I wasn't really training at a gym. I just saw a sign on the side of the road and called the number and fought, So, but yeah, I started training seriously probably, in 2015.
So tell me that story. You see a sign on the side of the road to fight. What made you pick up the phone and call the number in the first place?
Well, I'm a competitive person. I wrestled my whole life, played hockey my whole life. I grew up enjoying, watching the UFC. I was a fan, I was a freshman in college, and living in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I was just driving. I was taking some time away from sports, I was just driving, and I saw a sign on the side of the road. It said, cage fights, call this number, at the, K-Wing Stadium, which is a hockey stadium in Kalamazoo. So I called, and I was like, yeah, I want to fight. And they're like, okay, what do you weigh? And I said, 145 pounds. And they're like, all right, great. We'll get you set up. And that was it. I fought like 2 weeks later. I fought some, 30-year-old guy, and really just, my dad was in my corner. Like I didn't have like a coach or anything. My family came out to watch, and it was just a fun experience. I didn't know really anything except wrestling and what I saw on TV. So I went out there and I tried to stand with the guy, but ultimately just took him down every round and ground and pound, basically the whole fight. So it was fun. I got the win, and then I trained a little bit out in Kalamazoo. After that, I trained at Lightning Kicks, which is Amir Killa's gym, which is it's a great gym out there. But I didn't really think I was going to be competitive in it until I joined Scorpion Fighting System in Brighton, and I really found myself there, and yeah, started it out. So
That's a crazy start to your MMA story. That's great.
yeah.
So did you have
It
any
was
inkling that you wanted to try MMA and get into the sport before seeing that sign?
yeah. Like I said, I was always a fan of the sport, and I wanted to. I always wanted to do it. There weren't, it was hard to find a gym back then. The sport was kind of just taking off, and when I was in high school, and it was hard to find a good gym around me. And my dad took me to a gym in Brighton. It wasn't Scorpion Fighting System, but it was just like I don't even know who ran it, to be honest with you. He took me there a few times, and I sparred, but I think he didn't. He just wanted me to focus on wrestling and hockey, and so I didn't really know I was going to be competitive in it until I saw that sign. I mean, if I didn't see that sign, who knows? Who knows if how I would have gotten into the sport, or if I would have.
So you have that fight, and then you're starting to take this a little more seriously. This is sort of the path that you're supposed to be on. The sport's very humbling at times, especially when you first get into it. I know you had a win under your belt in a non-sanctioned fight, but you still have to be humbled up and learn and evolve with the sport as you progress. Do you remember like a specific fight, maybe a specific training session in the gym where it all just kind of clicked for you? Like, was there a moment for you when you were like, yes, I got it, and now I'm off to the races here?
I don't know. It's sort of like a gradual build up. Like I would say when I started training at SFS, I saw, they had such a big competitive team. And I was doing, well against them, against my teammates. I don't know. I think I just was like, I don't know, actually. I don't think there was a specific time. They asked me, hey, you want to fight? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I think probably that first fight is that first fight with Scorpion Fighting System. So 2015. I think like when I got that win, I felt that high, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. After that fight, I immediately texted my family, my friends, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. So, cause there's really, when you get your hand raised in there, and, there's just no feeling like it. So you're always chasing that.
This is your first pro title fight, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm 7-1, but yeah, this is my first main event and first pro title fight.
So you get your first pro title fight. You get to share it with Amanda Bobby Cooper, who, believe it or not,
Yep.
This is her first pro title fight. Like, what is that like? What's the mentality in the gym right now? How fired up does that make you, knowing that both of you guys are main and co-main, and you're both fighting for your first pro titles on the same card?
Oh, it's awesome. She's she's like a sister to me. So it's more than just a teammate. She's like my one of my best friends. So the energy in the gym's awesome. We're both really excited. Cody, her husband, has two belts from Lights Out. So just between the three of us, we'll have, after May 2nd, we'll have 4 belts. It's really good. And plus, a lot of my other teammates are fighting on different cards in the next month. My coach, James Gray, just announced his fight for WXC in a month. So, I mean, the energy in the gym's crazy right now. And it's definitely the place to get better at,
Now you get Mike Taylor on May 2nd, who had a very extensive amateur career. He's 3-2 as a pro. He's coming off a split decision win at Lights Out 3. It'll be over a year between fights for him. Being a fellow Michigan guy, did you know much about Mike when you got this fight?
Yeah. He's been around longer, a lot longer than me. He had a crazy amateur career. I think he was like 15-2 as an amateur. He's been around a long time. So I knew of him. I've never really, he's in a different part of the state than me. So I think maybe we fought on the same card one time. But I didn't watch him or anything. I didn't watch the fight.
You're certainly going to be ready for anything in 2 months' time, but what kinds of things does he bring to the table that you need to maybe watch out for? What's sort of his bread and butter that you've learned about him thus far?
Yeah, he's a good pressure fighter. He's tall, long. He's got good hands, good boxing, and he's somewhat awkward on the ground. So he brings a lot to the table. I have to sit down and watch more film with my coaches in the next week or so. But I know it's going to be a tough fight, and like I said, he brings a lot to the table. But I'll be ready for anything he's got.
Like you mentioned, SFS really starting to make some waves these days. I mean, Amanda looked great in her last fight. Cody is knocking on the door of something big. I've been hearing some things. Michel Pereira's in the UFC. Josh Parisian's been rolling as well. And then Jim's getting back in there and fighting. He's been doing a great job kind of molding everything together along with the rest of the staff. Do you feel like the team is on the cusp of getting that notoriety, not just in Michigan and in that region of the country, but around the sport as well? Do you feel like you're about to burst, so to speak, as a team?
Yeah, absolutely. With everyone you just said, and then we got, we just have like so many killers on the team that are like right there. I mean, they could compete in the UFC if they got that call up. I think, I think we're definitely the best team in Michigan. I think that once a few of us break that next level into the bigger leagues, whether it's UFC, Bellator, PFL, anything really, I think that we're going to get that respect we deserve. Like I said, we just have so many, we have so many people that are just right there, ready to compete at that next level.
May 2nd, Lights Out Championship 8, main event. How do you get this done and add a shiny gold belt to the mantle?
I think it's gonna be a great fight. I'm ready for 5 rounds, 25 minutes, but I don't think it's gonna go 5 rounds. I think I end it in the second or third round. So it's gonna be an exciting fight, and I'm really excited to put on another dominating performance for my friends, my family, and all the fans.
Do you feel like some bigger eyes maybe upon you here? Like, of course, the Contender Series matchups are starting to get put together. Do you feel like in a way this could be sort of a tryout of sorts, like maybe earn one of those elusive spots to fight in front of the UFC brass over the summer? Do you feel like that opportunity could be knocking here?
Yeah, I think so. With this win, I'll be 8-1 with a professional title. I don't see why it wouldn't be there. So I think after this I'll be getting some calls.
Big fight for Collin Anglin coming up on May 2nd, taking on Mike Taylor for the featherweight title at Lights Out Championship 8. Collin, great chatting with you, man. Let the folks know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
For sure. Everyone can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Collin Anglin MMA. It's all the same. I'd like to, thank my team, Scorpion Fighting System, my management, Iridium Sports, Lights Out Championship, for giving me this opportunity. I want to thank my sponsors, Champion Choice Nutrition, Phoenix Athletics, Go Cleveland Productions, and then just all the support and everyone who's behind me.
Awesome, man. Thank you for the time, Collin. All the best to you for the rest of this camp and on May 2nd, man.
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.